Good afternoon, Cub fans. Welcome to episode 115 of It's a Family Thing. Our final installment on the regular season. I can say regular season still because we're looking at the Braves and Mets playing a doubleheader today. The Mets just went up in the top of the ninth, 8-7. We'll kind of get to that. We'll talk about the scenario.
Yeah.
But this last series against the Reds, all right, the Cubs ended up basically in the same position they did last year.
Yeah, we're basically just talking about what all went on this weekend. The final home game at the Coliseum.
Yeah.
Possibly the final start of Kyle Hendricks' career at
The professor.
as a Cub.
Yeah, he made it clear. He loves the game. He still wants to pitch. He would love to come back as a Cub. I don't know what that would look like.
Yeah,
honestly.
And then you didn't think I was gonna watch this game. It was the White Sox and the Tigers.
Right, the
on Friday.
White Sox made history.
White Sox made history with
121 in the wrong direction.
They had the record of the most losses in the modern era.
All right, so real quick, not a lot of offense in this series. Let's just get,
Yeah.
The Cubs won 2 out of 3. They scored a total of 4 runs. The Reds scored a total of 3 runs.
Yeah.
Okay. Kyle Hendricks saved his best for last.
Yeah, it's
7 1/3.
kind of just unfortunate that they didn't get the win. They
get
the win, but not on his win.
Yeah, I mean it was a very quality start. The start he put out Saturday was a start I think all of us have been used to for the last 10 years, 9 years, whatever.
He's been in a club for 11 years.
For 11 years. Oh yeah. 13. He part of that Dempster train, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yep. From
the Rangers. But his big league career was all spent with the big club with the Cubs. That's an era of, for the most part, very good pitching, quality starts, big post game, starts for him. A true professional.
Yeah, they were trying to find a spot where they could give him the standing O.
Right.
He was going to get his standing O no matter what.
Yes. I like that they sent Tommy Hotovy out there.
Yeah, he's been with him basically since 16.
They're obviously very good friends.
Yeah.
Right? So that was cool to see the guys embrace him on the mound. The fans, of course, applauding him. I just want to talk real quick about him. Forget about the baseball stuff. This guy is a stand-up guy. This guy is a professional guy, very well liked by his teammates. The fact that Craig Counsell, found a spot for him. When he was struggling, he put him in the bullpen for a while, put him back. Kyle Hendricks said in his presser, said he didn't have to do that.
Yeah.
I didn't pitch well this year. All the things you wish every professional athlete would say, he owned it, right?
Yeah.
Okay, sure, fans are going to say, well, yeah, of course he's going to say that. He didn't pitch well. Yeah, but a lot of guys won't say that. They'll say, well, I had this, I had that, I had the other. But he straight up owned it. They didn't pitch well. He gave a lot of credit to Craig Counsell for hanging in there with him, as they grew together, right? His first year as a Cub manager.
Yeah,
he knows the guys, but he didn't know the guys. And it takes time to build, right?
You're basically, the guys from that you're managing against.
And sure, you have conversations with them here and there, sure. But this is like how Hendricks gave credit to Craig Counsell again, just like getting to know him, like building a relationship with him, right? So I don't know. My hat's off to Kyle Hendricks. I don't know where he's going to land. I know we probably said some things like, Kyle, sorry, dude. I don't think we ever said anything disparaging about the guy, though.
No, I think in early, probably May,
It was an obvious scuffle. We saw the start, right?
I probably said something that, if he gets DFA'd, I would be mad at it.
Right, but you wouldn't be surprised by it.
But I wouldn't be surprised.
Sure. And his press conference, he made it sound like he didn't say that, but
he was kind of expecting it.
He was hinting that, he didn't have to do this for me. He didn't have to make a place for me, whatever. He could have moved me, right? Kudos to Kyle Hendricks and what he's meant to this organization, along with those guys that played in 15 and 16. I think those two teams are near and dear to Cub fans, right? 15 was a year where Joe Madden first year, Epstein first year or second year, I think, right? Because I think Dale Swain was still the manager when Epstein took over in 14, I want to say.
Yeah.
So they hired Madden, and then that team was played so well down the stretch. Made the wild card. Beat Pittsburgh, beat the Cards, went to the NLCS. That was bonus baseball for all of us, right?
Yeah.
But 16 was always the year that Epstein had locked in, right? And hell, he might have been here before 14 because he made it sound like it was a 5-year plan, right? So he may have taken over well before. I may be off on that. I know I am. But anyways, then 16 comes to fruition, and they win it. And so all those guys that were on that team, they're forever going to be near and dear to Cub fans.
I think that they should make Craig Counsell should be part of that 16 statue that they're talking about making because he was the last one.
Hendricks, not Counsell.
No, Hendricks.
So they're talking about, what are they talking about?
They're trying to make a statue of the 16.
Like the team? Or
I don't know how they're going to do it.
Of course Hendricks would be on there.
But, I mean, that I don't know how big they're going to make it, who's going to be, if they're just going to etch,
certain players, maybe?
Certain players.
He should definitely be on there. Yes, 100%.
But let's move on to the playoff picture.
Yeah, as it's unfolding in front of our eyes right now.
Yeah, I'm just before they win
or whoever
wins.
Okay, so you want to dive?
Yeah, you can go.
Okay, so right now we've got a doubleheader that's going on in Atlanta. Atlanta and the Mets, both vying for wild card positions in the playoffs, right? Right now we've got the Mets are leading 8-7 in the bottom of the ninth, 1 out, 1 on. Atlanta's hitting. So here's what happens. Whoever wins this first game is automatically in the playoffs. Okay, they get to 89 wins. Reason being, the Diamondbacks have 89 wins. They're done with their season. They have no tiebreakers with the Mets or the Braves. Okay? So, whoever wins this first game is in the playoffs. They go to game 2, which is also very important, because the team that wins this game, if they happen to win the second game, if it's a sweep, whether it's the Mets sweeping or the Braves sweeping this doubleheader, the Diamondbacks would be in.
Yeah, that changes a lot.
If it stands as it is now, if the Mets win this game, they're in. Now, if the Braves turn around and win the game 2, they're in. And because you'll have two teams that'll get to 89, which leaves the Diamondbacks out with no tiebreaker at 89. I hope that made sense.
So if they split this series,
They're both in.
so who's going to be the 6th seed?
That's going to have to come down to, I don't know, the tiebreakers between the two teams. There is
Cause
not going to be a game 163. It's going to be a tiebreaker situation. So head to head.
Because the Mets just saw Milwaukee. They actually came from Milwaukee to go
Yes,
to
to
Atlanta.
go to Atlanta to play. Who knows? Maybe they'll end up going back to Atlanta. I mean, or to Milwaukee. Yeah, I don't know what the tiebreaker is between these two teams. But if they split, they're both in. I don't know who would be 5 and 6. To be honest with you.
Let's just look at this right here. Okay.
What does it say in the standings? What do they have listed right now?
Well, they're tied for second in the wild card.
It's not as simple who's listed above.
Well, the Braves are.
So would they be considered the 5th right now? I don't know. So that was runner on second base now. And now there's 2 outs. They're 1 out away from clinching a berth in the playoffs, the Mets are.
This is Diaz. He's
got
unreal.
filthy, isn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah, that guy swung at 2 pitches that were not in the strike zone.
Alright, so we talked about
They can't lay off that pitch. Sorry.
Oh, it's so it goes so.
I mean, seriously, that thing is way off the plate after they swing at it.
Is that super?
That's what he's relying on.
So we were talking about just this weekend. A lot of stuff happened.
Yeah.
The White Sox made history.
121 losses.
So you growing up with a bunch of these White Sox fans,
Yeah.
like White Sox clubs, and
Yeah.
is this because I felt like the White Sox had some talent on that team?
You know, it seemed like a couple of years ago they were trending. They had Jose Abreu. They ended up moving him. Houston, I think, DFA'd him.
Yeah.
Whatever. But they had a lot of young talent, and they were, not playoff, but they were close. There's a lot of talk about them being close.
Yeah,
right?
because they had like Robert
Yeah.
and Jimenez and
I mean, they had some good.
good pitching,
Yeah.
but they can never get enough offense or something. So the Mets clinched a playoff berth.
They did. This is a team I don't think a lot of teams want to play. They've been hot for a long time playing big games. I mean, so we're going to see who...
If they...
Okay, so here we go. It's this simple. If the Braves win Game 2, they're in. If they do not win, the D-backs are in. So the D-backs are big Mets fans right now.
Yeah. And I think the D-backs would be coming to Milwaukee then.
It's 2 years in a row it would be. Because they would be the 6th because they don't have a tiebreaker.
Good luck, Milwaukee.
So just, that's a pretty good team right there. They went from the 6th wild card spot, or the 6th seed, to the World Series last year.
Yeah. So,
Okay.
what's your take on, like, what happened? Because I felt like they had...
To the White Sox?
Yeah.
They moved everybody. All their pitching, all their whatever. I don't know what their plan was, other than to get young. There's one thing to get young, but there's another thing to just get your asses handed to you every single night.
Yeah. It just... It takes a
they
mental beating on you.
They won 41... No, wait. Yeah, they won 41 games. 41.
Yeah. that takes a mental beating on you.
It